Happy Tuesday. Nice to see you here today. We'll start in child's pose just like always. And I want to remind you guys to send me requests and anything that you're working on in particular, whether it's a pose or transitions, how to get from one place to the next, or if you're looking for variations in particular poses, just let me know. I'm your girl. I'll tell you everything I know, all right? We'll work it out together. So let's start in child's pose.
And take a deep inhale. Take a few moments here to check in. Check in with the breath and with your thoughts and ideas and preferences and expectations for your practice today. And begin to lengthen both sides of the breath. And begin to create some space between each side. So you want some space between the exhale and the inhale, that little space where the mind is most calm and focused. And the space between the inhale and the exhale. Without gripping, there's no retention, it's just hanging out. If you practice a more audible Ujjayi pranayama during your asana practice, the more you practice it and begin to master it, it really becomes silent. So that's where you want to go with that. Not louder isn't better. The loudest breather doesn't win. You want to eventually bring it to a place where you want to imagine the person next to you is sleeping and you don't want to wake them. Reach out through the fingertips and start to walk the hands over to the right side. Get lots of length on one side of the torso, lots of compression on the other. And breathe the same way. Walk the hands back to center, yogis. And then on over to the other side. And walk the hands back to center. Begin to push through the shins and let that pop your torso up and lean out past the wrists. And sink the hips back to the heels. Push through the shins, keep the arms nice and straight and lean forward. We're just going to start to wake up that downward current. Push and bring the gaze forward and inhale. And sink the hips back to the heels and exhale. Push and lean and inhale. Exhale. Push and let that push do all of the work. Bring the gaze forward and inhale. And this time bring the chin and chest between the hands and exhale. Pull the torso forward. You want your hands right by your waist here, yogis.
And then sink the hips back to child's pose. Push and inhale, lots of space between each side of the breath. Exhale, Ashtangasana. Pull forward onto the belly or lift the thighs up and inhale. And one more time, exhale, Balasana. Push and inhale. It's like the breath happens naturally. Exhale. Inhale, reach through the heart center. And use the belly to lift the hips. And exhale just as you're pushing the hips all the way back into down dog. So you can move the hips side to side, walk in place a little bit. Maybe take one leg up behind you at a time, whatever feels natural for you. And then start to walk the hands back to meet the feet. So keep the feet hip width apart, and you can cross the arms here. Bend the knees as much as you need to. You can just let the belly rest on the thigh. As you can see, I am still backing off a little bit. Let the neck relax, and you can let the head hang. And start to walk the hands toward the front of the mat, yogis. And then walk the feet up to meet the hands. And bring the toes together, keep the heels apart slightly. So you've got some internal rotation on the legs, and then you want some external rotation from the knees down. Push the shins away from each other, all right? And the more you create that internal and external rotation and start to push, you just kind of end up standing in Tadasana, all right? Bring your hands together at your heart center. And the more you push down through whatever part of the body is touching the floor, the more you can draw energy up, and we begin to wake up that upward current, divine energy that can lift the arches and lift the kneecaps without any effort. Just push down more, and then that energy draws up, lift the thighs and lift up through the inner thighs. And all that pushing and lifting will lift the pelvic floor, draw energy up. So you want to lift the pelvic floor and draw the low belly in and up just a little bit. So it's like these two currents meet just about an inch or so below the navel. And that's where you can move from in your practice. So you just eventually start moving the pelvis through space, through the power of these energetic locks or this energetic support system. And the next thing you know, you're just kind of getting pushed around on your mat effortlessly. All right, so that's really where we're, it's really cool. All right. Lift the heart center, take the shoulders down and back, and press the palms together actively so that you create space in the armpit area. This integrates the shoulder girdle, and you want to keep this with you as you move through your practice. We'll go through a few rounds of Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, reach up overhead. And exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees here, yogis, if that keeps the spine long. Inhale, lengthen. And step or hop or maybe float back to Chaturanga Dandasana or onto the belly just to measure where your hands are. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Lift the pelvic floor and reach through the sit bones. And you want to move the heels away from each other just enough so that they're out of view.
And breathe. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward, lift the hips, float the feet up. Do it better than I'm doing. Land softly and finish that inhale here. Exhale, use the belly to pull the torso in closer to the legs. Bring the gaze forward, push and inhale back up to vertical, reach up overhead. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, draw the low belly in and up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, and keep the gaze forward as much as possible, yogis. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward. God damn it. Hop the feet up. And then softly. Oh, I just really wish I could see what that just looked like. Exhale fully. Push and inhale. Reach up overhead, press the palms together actively. And exhale. Inhale, push through the feet. Exhale, Uttanasana. Keep the lift at the pelvic floor the whole time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Same space between each side of the breath. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward. Float the feet up, yogis. Maybe lift all the way up to your handstand. Land softly. Finish that inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana, and keep the gaze forward, not looking at your shins, but at your toes. And then push and inhale. Press the palms together actively. And exhale. Okay, yogis, hop the feet hip width apart. Sink the hips, plant the hands shoulder width apart. Start to lift all the way up onto the toes so that you deliver the knees up into the armpits, all right? You can keep the arms straight. Start to practice leaning and use the belly to lift the hips up nice and high. Pull the feet up to your buns, all right? So we'll do this a few times. Draw the thighs in toward each other, all right? Take a vinyasa. And then float forward, maybe land on the backs of the arms, really scoop that belly, keep the knees pulling toward each other. Use those inner thighs. That's what's going to give you all that lift. And keep the gaze forward. Nice calm breath. And exhale. Float forward. We'll do that again. Maybe land softly on the backs of the arms. Mula Bandha, just like always. Squeeze the inner thighs together. So even if you keep one toe on the floor, keeping one toe on the floor to help keep you stabilized and to practice getting all of that lift is better
than lifting both feet up and crumbling out of it or falling forward or something. You want to give yourself as much support as you can, however you can do that. So even this, keeping one toe on the mat, is going to teach you it's going to teach the body what you're expecting of it. All right, go ahead and take a vinyasa. We're going to do it 2 more times. So I don't have a lot of rules in yoga, but one rule I have is that you want to keep your hands wide enough apart for your butt to fit in between them. And for me, because of this weird shit I'm going through right now, I can even take my hands wider, but definitely not closer together. All right, make sure, because you want to be able to move easily. So if you are in crow, you can take a jump back to chaturanga. Your hands are in the right place, not too close, and then you can jump right into navasana. All right, so take a vinyasa, and we're going to do crow 1 more time, and use your bandhas, and breathe softly. Pull those inner thighs together, and really focus on drawing into that center just below the navel. Really practice drawing into that. So that's what's going to give you the lift. All right. And take a vinyasa, please. And from your down dog, inhale, jump through to navasana. You can straighten both legs, keep the knees bent. Same space between the heels here, just like in Tadasana and in the armpit area. Inhale, lengthen, and go ahead and straighten the legs, lie on the back. We're going to lift right up into Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Push through the feet and push through the arms. And exhale, release. Roll right on up to your sit bones, back up into Navasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Nice work, yogis. Right foot forward, not too far away. Push and inhale, take the arms wide. Reach and exhale. Utthita Trikonasana. Push through the back foot more. You can put your hand on the shin or on the top of the foot. You can hold onto your toe. Bring your hand all the way to the floor. Toe side of the foot. Nice work, yogis. Bring the gaze to the mat. Push and inhale, Ardha Chandrasana. Push through both feet evenly. Mula Bandha. And space in the armpit area. And soften the fingers of that top hand. You want to draw into your center, not shoot energy out through the fingers. Always draw in. And then bend the standing leg and step back a little bit further. Push and inhale, warrior two. Push down through both feet evenly. Draw energy up. So you want to lift the arches, lift up through the inner thighs, and all that lifting is going to support the lift of the pelvic floor. And inhale, straighten the front leg, scoot the back foot up just a little bit, reach and exhale right back into Utthita Trikonasana. Bring the gaze to the toes. Level out the hips and the shoulders and turn those back toes straight ahead. So I'm taking my feet about hip width apart here. Draw the belly in, Parivrtta Trikonasana. Stay with the twist, yogis. Bring the back foot up to meet the front foot and bend the knees. Side chair. So you can stay here or lean over, plant both hands, keep your hips nice and high, and come into side crow if you like, or just stay inside chair or any leg variation inside crow that you're working on. Side crow, you can also just keep your feet on the mat and teach the hips how to stay nice and high here. And wherever you are, we're going to come right back into side chair. Exhale, bring the gaze to the toes. Inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale, plant the hands, yogis. Take the feet hip width apart, Bakasana. Scoop that belly. Keep the gaze forward. And we'll meet up in down dog, however you care to get there. From your down dog, yogis, inhale, Navasana. And straighten the legs. Then lie on the back, bend the knees, push and inhale. Setubandha Sarvangasana. Exhale, roll right back up to Navasana. And take a vinyasa. Left foot forward, yogis. Not too far away. Inhale. Take the arms wide, reach, and exhale. Utthita Trikonasana on the left side. Push through the back foot, space in the armpit area. Make sure there's not a lot of weight on this bottom hand, wherever it is. And next, inhale, push through the front foot, move the torso forward. That back leg's going to follow along for the ride.
Keep both legs active. Push through both feet. And start to bend the standing leg. Take that back foot a little bit further back this time. Push and inhale, warrior two. Check in with that space between each side of the breath. And inhale, straighten the front leg, scoot that back foot up, reach and exhale. Relax the jaw. And level out the hips and the shoulders, yogis. Turn the back toes straight ahead. Maybe take that back foot over a little bit. Draw the belly in, Parivrtta Trikonasana. Stay with the twist, yogis. Bring the back foot up to meet the front foot for Parshva Utkatasana. Do you care if your knees are in line or out of line? I don't. It's going to depend on really what you care about and what the functional purpose is. There isn't one way to do this. And there's not one reason to do it. And side crow if you're working on it, or just stay in side chair, push and lift. Make sure you have enough space between the hands for your butt to fit in between them. And wherever you are, come back to side chair. Inhale, Utkatasana. Keep the bend in the knees. You can kind of scoot your feet hip width apart if you want to. And then plant the hands right back into Bakasana, okay? Scoop that belly, push through the hands, and pull your feet up to your buns. Pull those inner thighs together. You got it. Push and lift. And then take a Vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. From your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position, and we'll come onto the belly. If you can reach back for the tops of the feet or the ankles and start to kick into the hands, pull back with the hands, and inhale. Dhanurasana.
Kick more and pull more. You really just want to think about how can I get my thighs further up away from the floor. So that means you want to kick away and pull more. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, rolling over to your right side. It's really easy for this bottom foot to forget what it's doing. Kick into the hand more with the bottom foot. Bring the gaze up over the shoulder. Inhale onto the belly. And exhale on over to the other side. Kick more into the hands and bring the gaze up. Inhale onto the belly. And exhale, tuck the toes. Bring your hands right alongside the waist, yogis. Chaturanga, not up dog. And then up dog. And then down dog, all right? Nice work. From your down dog, inhale position, we'll come into Vashisthasana on the right hand. Make sure the shoulder is right over the wrist. Any leg variations or modifications you're working on is fine. We'll do this a couple of times. Use the bandhas to hold the hips up. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale forward, come into Vashisthasana on that left hand. Make sure the shoulder is right over that wrist, not way out there. Push and use the bandhas to hold the hips up. Space in the armpit area. And exhale right to Chaturanga Dandasana, no plank poses. And inhale forward, come into Vashisthasana on that right hand again. Push through that hand. Maybe take that top leg all the way up or bring the foot into the inner thigh, up to you. As long as you push and hold the hips up nice and high. The more you push and lift, everything feels supported, and that top leg will find its way eventually. One thing I know for sure is if you stop trying to do these shapes, that they will happen when they know what you're expecting of it, and they'll happen on its own. I don't even know how to explain that. Anyway, take a vinyasa. Do that on the other side. Nice. Inhale forward. We'll come onto that left hand, Vashisthasana. Any leg variation you're working on, or any modification. So the less you try, the more patient you are, then everything starts to make its way in its own time. All you have to do is push and lift and breathe softly. That's all you have to do. All these other shapes will find their way. Some poses are 20-year poses. Take a vinyasa. We'll meet up in down dog. Okay, yogis, let's go ahead and work on some inversions, okay? So if you want to work on forearm balance or handstand or your headstand, totally up to you. You have a wall near you. You guys are in my class, so you know what to do. You can walk your feet up the wall in any one of these inversions. All right, even in headstand. with your headstand, if you're doing headstand, make sure that your hands are open and holding on to the back of the head and that your elbows aren't too close. Always think good feng shui. How can you move your body into shapes that allow energy to flow freely through it and around it? That's what's going to support you in these positions, all right? So not all clenched up, but even more spacious than you can imagine. And then that's what's going to lift you up and keep you there steady and softly, all right?
You can use this wall, not trying to balance, but just to push the hips up over the shoulders, just like in handstand, all right? This leg, insignificant. Keep it down here. This top foot, whichever one it is, push through that foot so you push the hips up over the shoulders, all right? This leg, do whatever you want. You can reach up with it, but I wouldn't want you to fall backward. Keep your foot down here. That's your safety net. So you don't have to think about whether you're afraid to do these inversions. You can eliminate that aspect altogether. Just push and let that top foot do the work. Push and lift the hips up over the shoulders.
Okay. So we'll stay upside down for a little bit longer, all right? While I figure out what to do with this. Wherever you are, push. And breathe softly. Okay. You have time to do all three of these inversions. If you like shoulder stand, go for it. Some people don't like it. It's not required. You don't have to do any of these things, all right? But you do want to get upside down. So handstands are better, particularly for beginners or less experienced inversion practitioners. Oh, it's a little late. Thank you, though. I prefer this mic pack to fall out, actually. Thank you, though. Where was I? Yep, so if you're newer to inversions, handstands are the best, absolute safest inversion for beginners. And then comes forearm balance. And then comes headstand. And then shoulder stand is for the absolute most advanced practitioners. Often taught the other way around, right? Well, this is the way it is. Handstands, and then forearm balance, and then headstand, and then shoulder stand. All right, so forearms balance, Pinchamayurasana, you can do it the same way. I like to put my hands on the floor and have the cushion under my elbows. Lift the hips, use the top foot to just push those hips up. That is Pinchamayurasana. That you have to decide what defines an inversion. If you do it in a handstand, the top foot's going to do all the work. Push the hips up over the shoulders. Keep this foot down here. So you know you're not going to drop over. I mean, that's usually the biggest concern that people have, is that they're going to fall over and get hurt. So let's just remove that element altogether and teach the body that it can do this, and teach the nervous system that it's a safe place to be. All right, so we're going to stay upside down for about 2 more minutes.
If you're in headstand, push through the forearms and keep the shoulders up and away from the ears, yogis. Not like this. Lots of space between the elbows, space between the ears and the shoulders. That's what's going to give you all that stability.
And then last few breaths here, yogis. You can take a couple of breaths in child's pose or just sit on the heels. Check in with the effects of your practice this far. This is really just training, maybe for the practice off of the mat, which we need now more than ever. We'll go ahead and meet up in down dog. Okay, yogis, from your downward facing dog, inhale, jump through. And bend the right knee so that right foot's right alongside the hip. To get lots of length along the front of the body. And exhale, Trianga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. Reach for the toes through the heart center. And inhale, lengthen, and then pick that leg straight up. So you can hold on to the back of the knee, whatever keeps the front of the body nice and long and the space in the armpit area. You can hold on to the foot or get a clasp around the bottom of the foot. And pull on the foot a little bit and resist into the hands through the foot. And that's what's going to give you that space in the armpit area. And this foot over here, push into the floor through the top of it. Kranchasana. Inhale, lengthen, and go ahead and straighten that leg. We're going to jump off the top of this foot, lean forward, and take a vinyasa. And inhale, jump through. We'll do that on the other side. So you're on the top of that left foot, yogis. This is important. And exhale into a forward fold. Keep pushing through the top of that foot. We have to teach the top of that foot how to do stuff. Teach that downward current that it can move through every part of the body, not just through the feet or the hands. And we're not stretching. Keep everything super active and push and reach and lift. Inhale, lengthen, and then go ahead and pick that leg straight up. Kranchasana. So you can, any modification here, as long as you're creating resistance and pushing through the top of that foot, and then you are in Kranchasana. Inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and release that leg. Push off the top of that foot. I'm going to do it on the other side so you can see it. Push, lean. And take a vinyasa. All right. Nice work, yogis. Inhale, jump through. And exhale, lie on the back. Bend the knees. Plant the feet. You can lift back up into bridge pose. We've done this a couple times already. Push. Or bring the hands up over the shoulders and lift up to Urdhva Dhanurasana. Totally up to you. Wherever you are, reach toward the back of the room through the heart center. And breathe. Exhale, come on down one vertebra at a time. We'll take a one breath rest. And push and lift. So when you
Don't push straight up. Always push, just like if you were pushing through your sit bones in down dog, have that same angle. Push. And exhale, come on down. One breath rest. And push and inhale. And exhale. Nice work, yogis. Push and inhale. Back bend of choice. And exhale, come on down. You can bring the knees to the chest, take the feet all the way up overhead for a backward rollout, or you can bring the knees up and roll on up. Or do that ridiculous movement that I do. Anyway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, jump through, yogis, and bend the right knee. And bring that other foot to the outside of that thigh. Lean back. Draw the belly in and up. And use that backhanded push up into this twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana 1. This front foot, push into the floor. Start that twist from the lower part of the spine, and then the rest of the torso is going to follow along for the ride. Keep pushing. Lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, bring the gaze back to center, release the twist, and unwind the legs as you jump back. Inhale, jump through. And we'll do that on the other side. Bend the left knee and take that foot to the outside of that thigh. Push. So lean way back, yogis. Draw the belly and get your twist here, and then push the torso up into this twist. All right? Ardha Matsyendrasana 1, push through that foot. It's really easy to daydream here. So get all of those elements into the shape. Push and Mula Bandha and space in the armpit area. And the same breath we've had from the very beginning. All right? Inhale, bring the gaze back to center, yogis. Release the twist. Unwind as you jump back. And from your down dog, inhale, jump through. And come into just a comfortable seated position. Close the eyes. Bring your right hand to Gyan Mudra, and with the index finger and thumb touching, and then slide the back of the hand down that knee, and then slide the left hand palm down until the fingertips just touch the floor. Tuck the chin slightly here, yogis. Mushpara Mudra is a gesture of your intention or your desire to serve others before serving yourself. You're welcome to stay in this mudra or lie on your back for Shavasana. And slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the body. And back to the breath. Begin to move fingers and toes. Circle the ankles and wrists. Roll
roll the arms and legs in and out a little bit if you're in Shavasana. If you're in a seated position, you can maybe take a little twist or a forward fold, whatever feels good for you. If you're in Shavasana, take a big stretch up overhead and stretch in whatever way feels natural for you. Hug the knees to the chest and roll all the way over onto your left side. And then all the way over onto your right side and come on up to a seated position. And bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, where we connect our everyday self with our infinite self here, yogis. And we'll chant one Om. We are all one, yogis. Namaste. I'd like to remind everybody that it is Blackout Tuesday today, so make sure that you black out on social media and hashtag Blackout Tuesday. This is a gesture of your intention to just shut the fuck up and to start listening. Waheguru.